Guys, I am back and I am so sorry. First, let me apologize for being away for so long. I honestly feel like maybe my body needed a break. Also, the news with everything and my life has always been chaotic. I feel like this 3 week, probably 4 week by the time I upload this video break was very much needed, and I hope you guys didn't miss me too much, but I am back because there is a lot of things going on, literally the same weekend, so many things going on. And today we're going to talk about the Worlds, the 2022 Worlds, which happened simultaneously to the Channel 1 Cup, which I'm only going to touch on a bit because if I'm being completely honest, I didn't watch it. I don't know where we can. YouTube took down all the Russian channels, as they should, so I can only touch on what I've seen on my timeline on Twitter and in other fan pages and some YouTube videos, etc., etc. However, first we're going to go into the Worlds. First of all, of course, the Russians were missing, but it doesn't freaking matter because this was the event for Papadakis and Cizeron. First, let's start with ice dance, which, again, this World, it felt like it was just an event for Papadakis and Cizeron to do like their last hurrah for this amazing, amazing team, which I always feel does not get enough credit. It was in France. They are Olympic gold medalists for France. Like, they were literally on the poster. Like, this was their Worlds. I know it was Worlds, but it was also the Papadakis and Cizeron Farewell Tour. Instead of the Thank You Canada Tour, this was their Farewell Tour one night only special. And what can I say? Like, they killed it. What else did we expect from them? Unfortunately, I do feel like the retirement news is imminent, which is why I say their last hurrah. But as always, we expect them to dominate, and they did. They gave two amazing performances, taking home the gold. And I also feel like they're the only team who can get away with altering their costumes every single competition. Like, even if it's just a slight bit, I think this time it was Guillaume who changed a bit. But still, both their programs were like experimental, and that was their whole narrative for the season. So it almost makes sense for them to somewhat shift a bit their packaging for every single performance. It just kind of plays into the experimental narrative they have been playing along all season. And that is a very big change for a figure skater who has to sell a narrative and a story and a packaging. They're probably the only team who can do it and can do it well. I think with the French, the programs themselves are what's iconic, and then the costumes are just more adornments into already beautiful performances on the ice. Then in second place, we had Hubble and Donahue from the US of A, who again gave really good performances, and I feel like this season has definitely been their best season mentally and physically. I feel like they've also really grown to love and become one with these season's programs, especially the Janet Jackson. You can just tell how much they have bonded with this program and just love performing it because that confidence just bleeds into their performance every single time. They look like they own the world whenever they're doing any of their dance sequences or the final poses, and they killed it. They, to me, sadly, are another team who I feel is going to be retiring soon, and they've actually like talked openly about how they want to retire after the season, even though most of the figure skating community right now is probably telling them not to, because with the Russians out and Gabby and Guillaume very possibly retiring, like, they would be the big dog in the field. Like, they would be the team to beat. Hubble and Donahue would be getting gold, probably, if they stay in the game. However, as of right now, I don't believe they have talked about not retiring this season. Meanwhile, the last time they talked about retirement, they confirmed they were probably going to do it after the season. But who knows? Anything can happen, so we'll just have to wait and see. But I do believe if they stay in the game, they could reap so many benefits and be on so many podiums and probably take away really, really significant medals, which I know Hubble and Donahue have been wanting their entire career. Then in third place, we have the other American team, Chalk and Bates, who also gave good performances. Like, I'm telling you, this Worlds, it was just I don't know what it was, but everybody was just hitting. And to me, I feel like Chalk and Bates will become the main focus in ice dance now, due to the absence of the Russians and the French, but also because if Hubble and Donahue retire, then all the eyes will be on them. Not just competitively, but like media-wise. They consistently go viral with their crazy campy performances, like the snake went viral and then the spaceman last Olympics went viral. So I feel like they are not just gonna become very significant competitively, but they could become personalities like Adam Rippon very easily, because they also have the goods to back it up. Like, they're great in interviews, and on top of that, they are a real life couple, which you know the media loves, so they can really play it up. And I see them having just much bigger profiles within pop culture and becoming like TV personalities if they play their cards right. So Chalk and Bates, just keep it going because I see big things for you guys, especially with the field being kind of barren now without the Russians, the French, and possibly Hopel and Donahue. Lastly, I want to give a few shout outs. First to the British team, Fear and Gibson, who ended up 6th but are always so entertaining. To me, they're possibly the most entertaining of all these teams to watch. No matter what program they have, like, they always bring it. Their costumes are borderline like Blades of Glory, but still look good. The makeup is amazing. They're a young team, and I'm always cheering for them. And then in 7th place, the Spanish team, Olivia Smart and Adrian Diaz, who I believe are the fan favorites of this season, or were the fan favorites of this season. They have somehow managed to become the most talked about ice dance team in figure skating Twitter. They're like their war with the other Spanish team, their hit with the Zorro program, even like the dresses and their costumes have become iconic to both their performances with the Tina Turner and the Zorro program. So I feel like this is a team who also has retirement rumors, but should definitely stay. Like, I really wish they stay for another year because now they have not just the fan base, but they have the presence. Like, the judges like them, the fans are behind them. They really are positioned well to have an amazing season and just go out on a really big high. However, that means that their next season's programs have to be just as iconic as these ones. But still, it's really commendable becoming possibly the most talked about ice dance team when they didn't even have a real possibility of medaling at any of the major competitions or at the Olympics. Like, that's just how much the fans have become to love them. So shout out to them. Now pairs. I'm gonna be completely honest. I did not watch pairs. I had no interest and I had no kind of connection or motivation to do so. The only team I really recognized was James and Radford, who ended up 3rd. That's all I have to say about pairs. Actually, I just remember that in the pairs, the one thing I did see was that Ashley Kane again had another injury, and I thought it was because she was dropped by Timothy DeLuca, her partner, but it was just she fell out of a jump, and I've never seen that in my life. Like, she must be dealing with an active concussion or something because she just fell and couldn't get up. Like, you could see her trying to like figure out where she was. It was very, very scary, and this is the second time we've seen her injured this much on the ice, so I just hope she's actually taking care of herself and her well-being and genuinely resting the amount of recommended days that she has to when she goes to the doctors, because this fall was a fall out of a jump. Falling out of a jump should not concuss you, confuse you, and just make you lose such balance that you could see. It was terrifying to see her face was just scared. So I really hope that she's okay and that this team takes a while to just rest, because it's the second time we've seen her not know where she is on the ice. And the first time, of course, she got dropped on her neck. And I hope there's not some residual effects from that first very scary fall. And when I first saw this injury, the reason why I forgot is because I saw it a while ago in the channel called Random FS, which I always use their fan cams, and it's gone. What the fuck, YouTube? Why did you take Random FS out? They're just recording people figure skating. And from what I recall, she very rarely, or they very rarely, would put up copyrighted music along with it. Like, it would be faded in and out, so there were no copyrights, and now it's gone. But anyway, it's Ashley Kane. Please rest. It's not worth it to continue making brain injuries for a figure skating competition. And yeah, that's the most I can say about pairs. It was very scary to see. Now, let's move on to the ladies. Of course, the Russians were not here, meaning none of the Atari girls were here due to the ban on Russia. And I feel like at this competition, despite the Russians not being here, the competition was still pretty close and everybody hit. Like, I don't know what was in the air, but everybody was having just a great competition. Well, almost everyone. We'll talk about the unfortunate few. But honestly, like, everyone, Alyssa hit, Kaori hit, Luna hit, even Mariah Bell hit. Like, Mariah Bell, who was alone and literally coachless. No Adam, no Raf. Like, honestly, couldn't a single person from her gym accompany her to the Worlds? Like, she is the reigning U.S. national champion, and she's here alone at the Worlds. I feel like Mariah Bell could have been treated better. But anyways, in first place, we have the light of my life, Kaori Sakamoto, who actually in the short scored better than at the Olympics. And I feel like it's official, we can say it is Kaori's year. It is her year, it is her season. She has proven that not only can she do it, but she can do it well. And now in the absence of the Russian ladies, she is the girl to beat. She is getting these prestigious titles that honestly she deserves, and she needs to relish in this because she has the technique, she has just everything. To me, again, she is the light of my life, and even her reactions always bring so much joy. Like when she saw her score, she stood up, she got closer to her, like she was freaking out. She just brings joy to the sport, a sport which in the last few months I think we can all agree has gone through so much drama. So Kaori's not only just bringing joy, she's also, I feel like, healing the sport, and her being at the face of it is just perfect in terms of kind of restoration and kind of fixing the image of figure skating, as right now it's become pretty contentious. In second place, we have the beautiful Luna Hendricks, who also hit and had amazing performances. And what I love about her is that she has, just like Kaori, really earnest reactions right afterwards. Immediately overflowed with emotions and then immediately rushed into her coaches, one of which, don't forget, is her literal brother, and then crying even more once she gets the scores. Like, Luna as well is one of those skaters that, because of the Russian absence, is walking away with a world's medal, which at the beginning of the season she couldn't even imagine. It was inconceivable because of the Russian chokehold in the ladies field. And with Luna, I can really understand why she's having such emotions, because the reality is that Kaori could have possibly medaled just how she did in the Olympics, but Luna would have not been on the podium if it had not been for the ban. And that's why I understand she being so shocked and just elated with emotions at walking away with a silver world's medal, something that she could have only dreamed before. And now she is. She has a silver world medal, a title which I hope just has a lot of positive impact for her and her career, and I'm hoping that she also stays in the sport. She is a little bit older for the ladies, but the field has been completely reshaped now, so I feel like she can have even 2 more seasons in the sport. Then in third place we have Alyssa Liu, who also had a good Worlds, and honestly I was surprised to see that after her free she has such a raw reaction of just joy and with tears, because Alyssa Liu is really usually composed with her emotions. She's in a perpetual state of just happy but relaxed, and for her to be, showing just raw tears, it made me think that she had a really tough season. And this Worlds does mark the end of the Olympic season, which for every Olympian was tough, but for Alyssa, she went through, it felt like 101 coaches changes. She moved to a different state, she was away from her friends, and of course the constant questions online and rumors about her father's past must have just, they persist to this day. It must have been so annoying for her, and going to the Olympics alone, basically, was really tough on this skater, so I feel like this tears was just a release of it just being finally over. And meanwhile, for the other skaters who maybe those tears just were out of joy, I feel for Alyssa, they might indicate not just happiness that is all behind her now, but maybe that she's thinking of putting her skates aside. I feel like that felt like end of my career tears, and I'm really hoping that's not the case, but I would understand. Hopefully it's just a release of tiredness of the season, and I'm hoping that next season we see her in a much more stable coaching situation and we just see her, because Alyssa's career, I feel like, is also up in the air. Why are all these skaters on the brink of retirement? I don't understand. Most of the ice dancers I understand because of age, but most of these ladies now, they should feel rejuvenated, because the field is, I feel like it's the beginning of the end for Team Tutberidze, and I'll discuss more why I believe that towards the end of the video, but I feel like it has kind of opened the door for most of the other countries, including Alyssa Liu, who I believe should stay. In fourth place, we have Mariah Bell, who did also have a great showing, especially considering the fact that she was coachless. No Adam Rippon, no Rafael Junian, she was just there. However, her position was very controversial, as many felt she should have been below Young Yu in 5th place, not 4th, because Young Yu, who ended up below Mariah, landed a triple axel and still was scored significantly lower than Mariah in 5th. Meanwhile, Mariah was in 4th. Young Yu not only landed a triple axel, but also had one of her best performances to date, I feel like, making me and many other people feel like she should have been placed above Mariah, whose jumps are still questionable and often are counted as under-rotated. So, it is a difference of 4th and 5th place, but still, it should matter. We're trying to fix the sport, not just with doping, but the scoring is also a very serious issue, which makes it hard for new fans to get into the sport, especially when things like this happen. And I do believe there's an argument for both sides, but if it was me, I would have placed Youngyu either much, much closer to Mariah's score or just simply above her. In 8th place, we have Karen Chen, who was amongst the unlucky few of these women who we talk about video after video who did not have a great outing at this Worlds. However, I feel like Karen Chen did her job this season. Like, she pulled through when it mattered most at the Olympics and the team event. Then, she was basically the person who assured the 3 spots in the USA. Like, she was the person who made it so the USA could even send 3 girls. So to me, if Karen Chen does decide to retire after this season or after the other season, she should feel completely content with her career and what she did in this 2022 season. Lastly, in 11th place, we had Wakaba Higuchi, who definitely, out of all the top ladies, had the worst outing. She fell in her triple axel, and after that, in the free, it was just a struggle. Like, the entire free program felt like we were all just, oh God, honey, no, you're gonna injure yourself, like, what's going on? But still, the crowd was behind her, because she, in my humble opinion, still has the crowd favorite free program. That Lion King program is a masterpiece, and it's definitely one of her signature programs for the rest of her season. And seeing her succeed in the Olympics was enough for me. Like, at this Worlds, yes, I wanted her to do well, but her doing not well and placing 11th does not take away from any of her other accomplishments. And again, the season was extremely long, extremely tumultuous, and troubling for everyone involved. So I feel like we can let Wakaba have a bad day and it'll all be okay. Finally, we had the showdown between the men. The most notable thing here is that Yuzuru Hanyu and Nathan Chen were both missing, both choosing to skip the competition for various reasons, but I'm sure mostly because they just need to rest their bodies. And notably also, my baby Jason Brown opted out of the Worlds as well, making it so there was an interesting group of men who might have otherwise been overshadowed, who now were fighting to podium. In first place, we had Shoma Ono. Yes, you heard me right. Mr. Silver Medal, the forever number 2 to Yuzuru, and then Yuma Kageyama ended up taking a gold medal at these Worlds, which just makes me so happy that he can now have this moment, and most importantly, this title, because yes, it was enabled by the circumstances that both Nathan and Yuzuru were not here, but still, he left first. He beat Yuma Kageyama. He showed to the world that he can pull it together. He is not always the second medal boy. Like Shoma Uno, our favorite disaster child, pulled through. Again, so happy that he and Stefan are doing well, and this partnership, this coach relationship is just doing great for his career. I hope he stays. I don't think he'll be retiring. I think he's gonna have a few more years within him, and maybe if he puts his head where his skates are, or his skates where his head is, I don't know what I'm trying to say, he might walk away with even more gold medals. Who knows? Maybe it might be a Shoma and Yuma showdown for the rest of the season. In silver place, we had Yuma Kageyama, the little prince, the face of the future of men figure skating in Japan. He walked away with silver, and I still love Yuma for it. I hope this is just the beginning and more is to come. In third place, we had Vincent Zhou, who did well, but had one really bad landing. And I probably have said this before, but Vincent has never been able to recreate just the ease and the confidence by which he did this program, this free, back in Skate America. Of course, I was hoping that Vincent medaled here at this event, given the fact that he had a brutal Olympic experience, having to withdraw after testing positive. I mean, that video he posted on Instagram still haunts me. And in the end, he does. He medals. He walks away with a bronze medal, which is what I believe exactly is the position he was going to get regardless. I don't think there was any chance for him to beat the Japanese men. I expected nothing but Japanese domination in the men's field. And he did it. Vincent Zhou walks away with bronze, and I am happy that he has a good Worlds after a pretty terrible Olympics experience. And in an odd turn of events, we had Morisi from Team Tutberidze ending up in 4th place. Yes, a Team Tutberidze member was here to skate. Technically, he's still allowed to come to the Worlds because he represents Georgia and not Russia. But it's still weird to see him, like, given the Russian ban and the fact that he is like the one Tutberidze boy that exists and persists and is so closely tied with all the Atari girls. I mean, his program for the gala always has one of them being, you know, the one that rubs the lamp for his genie program. So it was just odd to see him there given the circumstances, and he did skate well considering his skills and what is well for him. So it was weird, but it also made sense. That's the best way I can put it. It honestly, the only reason why I'm commenting is because it felt weird to see him without the whole squad behind him, and knowing that the squad is literally banned due to reasons of war is just insane to still wrap my head around. But anyways, in 5th place we have Camden, who honestly I'm not familiar with this man. Camden Pulkkinen, who I am probably mispronouncing his last name, but I am not familiar with this man, and I believe he was brought in as a replacement for Jason Brown, and to me he has been the surprise of this competition. I have seen him maybe once before in a very big competition, but here he did better than expected. He actually did super well, to the point where now I wonder why he hasn't been sent to more significant international competitions, because he just looks like he could be a significant USA man alongside Ilya Malinin in like the next few years. I hope he continues this upswing that he suddenly has had, and this trajectory could be a good one. You know, he could be, again, one of the new faces. Like him, I could see him and Ilya just taking over once this generation of skaters start to retire. Which again, I feel like I'm retiring all these skaters. I am not. It's just that they have retirement vibes or have said that they're gonna retire. But Camden Pulkkinen, who again, probably mispronouncing, surprise of the entire competition for me. I hope to see him medaling in many more competitions to come. Shockingly, in 9th place, we have Ilya Malinin, who is the USA's rising star for men. Ilya in the junior circuit did amazingly well, was immediately coined kind of like Alyssa Liu was a few years ago as like the next big thing. But here, Ilya not only did bad, but had one of the worst falls I've ever seen. Like an entire body smack. It was insane to see. And I feel like he just lost focus. Hopefully this competition, this bad performances was just a fluke, and it's just the global stage being exposed for the first time to just the intensity and the pressure of international competitions for seniors might have gotten to him. Maybe it's just not as easy as it looks to transition from junior to senior competitions, and the only thing I can do is hope that this motivates him to work harder and stay focused. I don't think he's going anywhere, and we are yet to see his best. And he truly is the next big thing. If he stays in the sport, we can expect him to be the face of men's figure skating in the USA, just like Yuma Kageyama has been coined the next face of men's figure skating in Japan. Jun Hwa-cha ended up withdrawing after the show program. Don't know what that was about, but at least he was there, looking cute, as always. And that was basically men's. We expected Japanese domination, and so they dominated. Shoma Uno being first was the surprise of the competition, and the rest kind of new faces for me. This Worlds felt, yes, maybe less dramatic because the big personalities of Team Tutberidze were not there, but at the same time, it kind of felt like the breath of fresh air that we all needed after the tumultuous months. Coming back into figure skating for me with this Worlds just felt right. It felt like a way to ease me back into the sport, which I know is going to give me more headaches, more craziness, and more plot twists that I could ever want or need. I don't need that many. I just need to watch the sport, but it still continues to surprise me. Now let's talk or just touch on the Channel 1 Cup. Again, if I'm being completely honest, I have not seen the entire event. I don't know where I could watch the entire event, as Channel 1 has basically been banned from YouTube, at least in the USA. The only thing I've been seeing mostly been videos and pictures of Zhenya, the love of my life, because I follow fan pages, and that's just usually what's on my timeline. I don't even know who won. I'm predicting that probably Alina did again, or maybe Zhenya did again, but it honestly doesn't matter because it's a competition for fun. The points are not really legit points, they're just points. And I've seen some clips on YouTube and Twitter, and it just looks like the last one. Fun, goofy, it feels like a sports assembly at school. I love that Mark and Zhenya were paired together once again. I did not expect Camila to be paired with her. I knew that definitely Alina and Shcherbakova were going to be paired because, you know, previous Olympic champion, new Olympic champion. It was just going to happen. Trusova decided to opt out of it. She just said she was not going to be there. So again, she needs not just rest physically, but also mentally. Girl has been through a lot, and I expect her to leave Team Tutberidze anytime soon. But speaking of leaving, there have been some rumors that Team Tutberidze might be just leaving en masse, or at least that Tutberidze herself might be leaving. From what I've seen and heard, her daughter is in the USA, and now, I don't know if that is what has sparked rumors, but now there are rumors that Terry Tutberidze herself might be considering going abroad. I don't know if that would be the USA, somewhere in Europe, or even China, but taking her team, and if she does take her team, meaning Dudakov and Daniel Gleichenhaus with her, then that would be crazy. Like, it's also been reported that they're no longer part of Sambo 70, so I guess the skating school can move away as they please, if they even please to do so. And that would be an insane shift, because that would mean that yes, some Russian girls would go with her, but that also would mean that she would acquire different students from maybe different backgrounds, maybe Russian ethnicity but not Russian born students, or maybe completely different nationalities, which would be an interesting thing. Would her dominance even continue if she's not based in Russia with a sketchy doctor? I mean, there's a lot of different possibilities here, and I don't know how it will even work. I don't know if it could even happen. Nothing's been official. This is just me just speculating on rumors that are baseless. Let me just put that out there. But if it did happen, that would break my head. Like, that would break my internet. Like, the figure skating Twitter, the streets, as I call them, would be on fire. I don't know what more can happen, but that can be another thing that would just break my head. At the Channel 1 Cup, she was there. She was acting as she usually does, which is not a lot of movement in the face, in the body. She was just there. From what I hear, read, and saw, she was not sitting at the kiss and cry with none of her students. Alina and Zhenya look like they're getting along even better. They're taking pictures together, which that is good. I mean, that is very good considering last time was the infamous press conference with my favorite moment of all time, the awkward hug. And Eteri was just there. Like, unless it's confirmed somehow, we won't know. And if we do know, it'll probably have already happened. But as of right now, she is in Russia. She was at the Channel 1 Cup with the rest of the Eteri girls. So Team Tutberidze is still in Russia. But the rumors have sparked because the entirety of the Russian economy, and of course sport is state funded, has started to go down the drain. There are no funds for sports given the situation of the ongoing unreasonable war with Ukraine, and I don't know where else they could turn if not going abroad, because I don't believe the Russian skaters will be invited back next season. I just don't see it happening unless the war completely de-escalates and peace is officially declared. And we are lengths away from that happening, if I'm judging by the continuous updates in Ukraine. Again, can't believe this is actually where we're at. Did not think my weird niche hobby from the pandemic was gonna get to this point, let alone make me have to talk daily about a war. The chain of events has been insane. Not just for the world, but for this weird hobby that I acquired. Like, what the fuck? Anyways, I am still working on Team Tutberidze Beginner's Guide Part 2. Script being finalized, and I can hopefully record. The episode for the Do You Care Now Olympics edition is almost there, like 80% edited. Just need to finalize it. However, I am putting them on the back burner for this video since it is more topical. So, those are the updates for me. Again, thank you guys for being so patient with me. I do feel really bad. I gave some little updates on Patreon, but still not enough to explain this big of a break. But anyways, at least I'm back, and I hope to be back with even more content once I'm finished moving. Yes, I am moving again. Once I finish moving, I'm hoping I will upload much more content. Anyways, as always, shout out to Timothy, Natalia, Leslie, Jordan, Antonio, Mansaca, Maria, Melissa, Lauren, Katie, and Corina. If you want to support me, my Twitter, my Patreon, and the merch are all down below. And hopefully, genuinely, I will talk to you guys soon. Bye bye.